More confidence on the North Bali Airport. Yes, the North Bali Airport is back in the news again, and you know, one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite fairy tales. And so what is being said about that? Well, let's find out. And North Sumatra court jails TikToker for Jesus remark. Yes, we're going to be talking about internet censorship here, hate speech. And so stay tuned for details on these and other stories. Selamat pagi. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is March 12th, 2025, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? It's going to be another steamy day, I'm afraid. Right now at 9 o'clock in the morning, it is already 31 degrees Celsius up here, and the humidity is 80% once again. And the wind speed is down to almost nothing, 1.9 kilometers per hour. No rain yesterday. So that's some good news. And still wondering whether the extreme weather is over or not. I don't know. And that's all I'm going to say about the weather because I don't want it to rain again tonight. Okay, so we've got the stories on North Bali Airport and a TikToker who is going to jail for a remark about Jesus. And so let's get started. AA Ugrasena remains confident North Bali Airport will be built despite being removed from PSN. The construction of the North Bali International Airport seemed to be the best-selling commodity during the election because it is not only echoed during the regional elections by gubernatorial and regional candidates, the development of air transportation infrastructure was also the promise of the president and vice presidential pair running during the last election. And you may remember I talked a lot about that at the time. And, well, I haven't heard anything from the president or vice president about that recently. However, after the political contestation ended, news of the continuation of the construction of the North Bali International Airport seemed to have been swallowed up by the earth. Wow. In fact, the project is not included in the 77 National Strategic Projects, PSN, which have been signed by the President of the Republic of Indonesia, President Prabowo. Responding to this, the Penglingsir of Puri Singaraja, Anak Agung Ngurah Ugrasena, said that the construction of the North Bali International Airport was not included in the PSN. However, the plan to build this airport is included in priority projects, he said. This construction has been stated in Attachment 4 of the Presidential Regulation of the Republic of Indonesia, number 12 of 2025, concerning the National Medium-Term Development Plan, RPJM, for 2025 to 2029, he said. This is also what makes him confident that the construction of the airport in North Bali will be realized. Why? Especially considering the crowded situation in South Bali. So the construction of an airport in North Bali is considered a priority and absolute necessity. In my opinion, he said, Ngurah is being forced too much. Meanwhile, on the other hand, there's Bululang, whose potential would be a shame if it were not utilized to its full potential. Not only that, the budget for the construction of the airport, initiated by PT Bibu Panji Sakti, did not utilize the government budget at all, because companies from China are ready to invest US $3 billion. I'm very sure this will happen because the airport construction is just one step away, just waiting for the president's order, he added. Okay, and another story on this. Chairman of Commission 2 of Bali DPRD, I am still quite optimistic that the North Bali Airport will be realized. So, as I said, the construction of the airport is not included in the National Strategic Projects. However, the chairman of Commission 2 of the Bali DPRD, known familiarly as Ajus Linggih, stated that he's optimistic that the construction of the airport will be realized. Why? Because it's urgent, he said. This is no longer an economic problem, but has become a security problem. A security problem, really. Furthermore, Ajus said that one of the causes of the recent increase in crime was also due to the high social inequality in Bali. And I've mentioned the increase in crime a number of times recently. This could be seen from Badung's original regional income, PAD, which is greater than 8 Regency cities in Bali combined. Young people in other districts migrate to Badung to compete with others, including immigrants, so that the culture in other districts is eroded because there's no one to continue it. And that has a ring of truth in it. All of my children live down south because that's where the jobs are. In addition, Pak Ajus said the quality of tourists coming to Bali is declining. Judging from the increasing number of tourists, their spending money seems to be decreasing. Why? Which rich tourist would come to Bali and be made to wait for hours for their luggage and exit the airport, especially after a flight of dozens of hours and bringing children? As a result, he said, only backpackers come to Bali. This is said to be homework on how to increase the quality of visitors without providing adequate facilities. And back to blaming backpackers for the problems here, right? And if we go back, way back to when I first came here in 1989, well, backpackers were the backbone of the tourist industry in those days, and we had a lot less problems. Of course, we had a lot less people here back then. But backpackers are a good target because I guess they're not considered to be quality tourists. Pak Ajus said, I personally have met with the deputy of the coordinating ministry for infrastructure to discuss the airport. It may not be included in the PSN because the investment is private. Okay, more and more about the private funding. He emphasized that the central government is not actually obstructing the construction of the airport. He said they even support it, but there are some things that still need to be studied. Yeah, more studies, more studies, more studies. And so the fairy tale of the North Bali International Airport is back in the news again. A number of stories about this. And, well, how many decades have we been waiting to see a North Bali Airport? Are we ever going to see a North Bali International Airport? I doubt it. And this reasoning here is, well, there's a lot of crime down south because there's just this huge social inequality, because there's all these tourists here, and I guess there's people looking for jobs, and so there's a big gap there. So let's spread the crime out and bring some up here in the north by putting an airport up here. And of course, as usual, this leaves out do tourists want to come up to North Bali, even if there's an airport here? Are they going to stay up here? Are we going to develop some fun parks, some more beach clubs, and whatever, and change the character of North Bali into another South Bali, another Canggu? One of the attractions up here is the more relaxed lifestyle, less traffic, less crime. And so, well, I don't see this happening, but it's always fun to talk about. And what about the next story about the TikToker who is going to go to jail? North Sumatra court jails TikToker for Jesus remark. A court in North Sumatra sentenced a transgender woman to more than 2 years in prison Monday for a remark online about Jesus' hair. A local official said this in a case condemned by rights groups as excessive. Ratu Thalisa was found guilty by the Medan District Court of spreading hatred under a widely criticized online hate speech law in a TikTok live stream. The judge handed the woman, a Muslim, according to court documents, a sentence of 2 years and 10 months. In the live stream in October, Ratu was reportedly shown talking to a picture of Jesus on her smartphone and telling him to cut his long hair. Ratu, who sold beauty products online, was reportedly responding to a comment that told her to cut her hair to avoid appearing like a woman. Rights groups, who have slammed the electronic information laws too vague and open to misuse against religious minorities, called for the sentence to be quashed. The prison sentence is a shocking attack on Ratu Thalisa's freedom of expression, according to the executive director of Amnesty International Indonesia. While Indonesia should prohibit the advocacy of religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence, her speech act does not reach that threshold. Prosecutors, however, immediately appealed the verdict, which was more lenient than their demand for a sentence of more than 4 years. Ratu has 7 days to decide whether or not to appeal. Indonesia has significant numbers of religious minorities, including Christians, Hindus, and Buddhists, who have been targeted by radical Islamist groups amid concerns about the rising intolerance. But the law has also been increasingly used by religious minorities to report perceived violations. In 2022, former Sports and Youth Minister Roy Suryo was sentenced to 9 months in prison after a court found him guilty of hate speech for retweeting pictures of the president, Pak Jokowi's face superimposed on a Buddhist statue. So you have the hate laws and the internet electronics law. And so censorship here is, well, it's alive and well in Indonesia. And you need to be careful about what you say. What you say should be supported by facts. And I have to say here, occasionally I get comments that attack somebody personally, a president or a governor or somebody else, making personal comments about them, and I do delete them. If you want to make hate comments about somebody, well, do it on your own channel, because usually the people that do this, they don't have any identity online. If you want to pass hate speech around, put your name on it and take responsibility for it. I am not going to have a problem because of what you want to say. You disagree with something in the news, you want to talk about the programs, yeah, great. I disagree with a lot of them too. Not much I can do about it since I'm not a citizen. But I know for a fact that at least one person in immigration follows this channel because he told me so. And so I always watch what I'm saying and make sure that I'm sticking with reports. And if I'm putting an opinion out on my own, and make sure I say that it's my opinion and I attack the policies, not the person. So just a reminder, let's get on to the governor. And well, he has a solution to overcome waste problem. Bali governor immediately massively distributes tumblers in traditional village environments. And I've talked about the tumbler thing a few weeks ago. Bali Governor Wayan Koster will promote the use of tumblers in traditional village environments as well as in government, private, and educational institutions. This aims to control the use of single-use plastics products in village environments throughout Bali. The governor and deputy governor will act quickly, firmly, honestly in the 2025-2030 period to maintain the sanctity and harmony of Bali, of nature, culture, and humans. Waste is a priority issue that will be resolved quickly and on target. I will implement the massive use of tumblers down to the village level and down to the traditional villages so that the use of plastic products can be truly controlled, the governor said on Monday. The governor will enforce Circular Letter SE number 2 of 2025, which regulates restrictions on single-use plastic waste and the use of tumblers. This regulation is an implementation of Bali Governor Regulation number 97 of 2018, a long time ago, concerning restrictions on the generation of single-use plastic waste. The governor admitted that the regulation had not been implemented optimally during his first term of leadership, and that there is that term again, implemented. You can pass all the laws you want, as long as you don't implement them, they are worth nothing. At that time, he could not enforce and supervise this regulation too strictly because Bali was still hit by the COVID pandemic. Good excuse. Now, what is urgent is related to Bali's natural ecosystem. Koster will take tough action against anyone who has the potential to damage Bali's nature and culture. Let's take a look at some of the beach clubs and some of the other monstrosities that are being built around the island. The second period is going full throttle. In the room in front of our desk, we are not allowed to use single-use plastic packaging products. For this reason, in the near future, the governor will gather all industries whose products use single-use plastic. It must be prohibited to produce such things. We must all love the world of Bali. How is he going to stop people from producing these things? Go to any mini market and it is full of plastic packaging. Regarding source-based waste processing, Governor Koster has prepared effective steps. He will soon announce to all Balinese people regarding the waste control efforts throughout Bali. Source-based waste management has not been running well in the first period. In the second period, we will act quickly, hard, firmly, so that source-based waste management in villages and households can be completed thoroughly. And it's going to be interesting to see how that works. Now, as I've said before, something is better than nothing. And so if you get the government to stop using single-use plastics in the schools, okay, that is something. It is better than nothing. But saying that it's going to solve the waste problems, well, that's just not too realistic, is it? Okay, that is it for today. It is a Wednesday. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Take care, and I will see you next time.